Hi YouTube, it's Corey. I hope everybody's doing well today. It is October 2nd at about a little after 5:30 p.m. And I do have some good news. I am free of COVID-19. I was released from home isolation last week after being in it for 2 weeks and got notification from the health department that I'm no longer contagious, um, and am pretty much COVID free. But to contact them if I get sick or anything like that in the future. So yeah, I haven't really gone out of the house and done too much yet, but I did make it out and see some friends a couple days ago. Um, and hopefully I will be able to do that this weekend too. Um, but yeah, I hope everybody else is doing good. Um, I wanted to talk about something today that kind of pertains to the mental health community. Um, I am in several support groups for schizophrenia on Facebook, and there was a question that was asked that I wanted to kind of touch base on and make a video about to help people gain more of an understanding. In one of the groups, one gentleman asked a question. He said, "If the meds you're taking are working so well, then why aren't you working at a job? Um, why don't you have a job?" And I wanted to touch base on that. The comment um ended up getting deleted or something from Facebook. I think they must have thought it was too offensive or something like that, or maybe it was too controversial. But I didn't take it that way at all. I don't think that the person who asked that question was trying to be disrespectful. I don't think they meant any harm. I think they were just naturally curious and want to gain a better understanding of mental health issues. Um, so I am on medication for schizoaffective disorder, and it works pretty well. I've had problems with medications in the past, but this combination that I'm on right now, I've been on since January, when I was in the psych ward. The psychiatrist in the psych ward put me on it. Um, and I've been staying with this lineup ever since then, so it's working out very nicely, and I have a lot more control over my mental illness than what I used to, which I'm very thankful about. But as far as why I'm not working, um, the main reason that I'm out of work um, is because I had at my last job, I had very bizarre experiences on the job because of my mental illness and stress from jobs can trigger schizophrenia even if you're doing well and even if you're on medication. Stress is the biggest trigger um for relapsing in schizophrenia. um for example, this past summer, um I was under a lot of stress due to my mom having problems with addiction. It was really bothering me, and she ended up in the hospital a few times, and I was really worried about that. And so I was under quite a bit of stress. And what happened was I had a little bit of an episode, just kind of a mini episode. It only lasted for like a half hour, 45 minutes. But it was one night I was alone in the house, and I started hearing voices talking to me through the TV, even though the TV was off. And when I talked to my therapist about it, we both came to an agreement that um me hearing these voices probably had a lot to do with the stress I was under. And the stress I was under um was, caused by my mom's addiction and her problems with that. And so that kind of shows you um how easily this disability, or whatever you want to call it, um can kick in, how easily it can be aggravated. um so there are um I've been avoiding working because of jobs come with a lot of stress. I don't know about you guys, but I've never had a job where there wasn't at least a little bit of work stress. Every job I've had has been stressful. Um, and that has a lot to do with um, the onset of my mental illness. What was going on at my last job I worked at, for Subway in Washington. I was hearing voices while I was at work, and I was not on any medication at that time. Now, when I'm on my medication, I can hear a voice and ignore it. But if I'm off my medication, I kind of lose that ability. And I tend to talk back and actually have very lucid conversations with these voices um, when I'm not medicated. And it's a long story about why I was off my medication. There was basically a problem with insurance, but I was off it for a couple of months, and that is what boiled down to me losing my job basically and getting fired. It was just very bizarre, awkward behavior at work. And when you're having things like that go on, you're not getting any work done. You're not getting any tasks accomplished. It totally throws you off task. So I can see why it frustrates employers, because it doesn't get anything done. When you're working in a restaurant, there's a lot of different things that need to be done in a short period of time. And it's a very fast paced environment, so you got to be quick. And when this thing hit me, it just screwed everything up. um so after being unemployed for I lost my job in May of 2015, and after being unemployed for over a year, um I finally broke down and decided to apply for Social Security disability. um I didn't really know that was an option at first. What happened was I was in a support group for people who hear voices and see visions while I was going to DESC in Seattle. And one of the guys in the group was like, "Well, if you have schizophrenia, then why aren't you getting disability?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really know. I didn't know I could do that." Um, so then they started talking to me and basically told me what to do to apply for it. Um, and I ended up taking their advice and applying for it, because before that I had tried to get a job several times and was denied. And I don't know if I was denied those jobs because of my mental disability or what really happened, but it could have been something I said during the interviews too. Um, I was on and off medication. So, and when I go off medication, it's just a very bizarre experience. So that could have chased off potential employers. But my goal is to someday get off of SSDI. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be on it forever. To be on SSDI forever, that's kind of a bleak future. It's kind of depressing. You pretty much know you're never going to be able to have enough money to own property or anything like that. Um, you're never going to be able to travel to different places that you might want to see. and stuff like that. It'd be very difficult to own a car. I personally haven't owned one since 2013. Um, my goal is to work in mental health, and I'm going to school right now, and um, am learning how to work in that field basically, and hope to get an associate's degree within the next couple of years here. Um, some people are able to graduate off Social Security and go back to work, kind of like my peer counselors that I was working with in Washington. They were on disability at one point and then they ended up, back in the workforce and becoming very successful. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I hope to eventually get back in the workforce and do something successful. But a lot of people have asked me like, why don't you do it right now? Why are you waiting to do this? Why don't you work and go to school at the same time? And the reason for that is I cannot, with the circumstances, with the how severe my mental disabilities have gotten, I can barely focus even just going to school part time. I'm just barely hanging on by a thread. School is very difficult for me, and there's no way I can, with this condition, there's no way I can do both work and school at the same time. Um, it isn't gonna work. It would trigger a lot of schizophrenic and major depressive symptoms, even on medication. So, it can't be both. It has to be one or the other. And right now, I'm deciding to take the school option because I think that if I can get an associate's degree, that will make me more capable of getting a job that I'm capable of handling mentally. Um, because I want to be good at whatever I'm doing when I go back into the workforce. So that's kind of why I'm choosing to go to school right now. So I think I've covered pretty much everything I want to cover about this topic. I hope that this helps people kind of gain an understanding. If you're not mentally ill, I hope this kind of answered some questions for you about why it's so difficult for people with mental disabilities to work. Um, so yeah, that's really about it. I do have to get going though, guys. It's getting later in the evening and I have some work for school that really needs to be done. So I'm gonna end it here. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. And if you have any questions or anything for me about if you have questions about schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, or questions about this video, mental illness and employment, let me know in the comments. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I try to check this thing almost every day. So I'm usually pretty good at getting back to people. So have a good night, everyone. I'll talk to you later.